Well, didn't have her for too long before Jim's sending her back. The steering that we didn't quite perfectly fix ate up another rack. So we're gonna be working on that now. Let's hope I can get that shaft out of there. I'd love to be able to fix this for 10 bucks rather than 100, so we'll see. All right, so we got her off the trailer, and here's the problem. She's NASCARing it officially this time. So we gotta do something about that. It's a combination of things. You have two loose bushing sets in there, so the shaft is just able to do this all up inside of there. Additionally, some of the teeth have worn off of the brand new plate I put in there because it's cheap steel. So it worked before, but it just kind of skipped a little bit. It's worn down now that it's not, so I probably have to get another plate as well. And we just can't get that steering shaft out. There's a gear on the bottom, and there's supposed to be a screw in it, and I can't find anything in there. I'll have to give it another look and see if there's some way I can get it off. And if not, it's got to come out. If I can't take the gear off, then the shaft has to come down. Trouble is, there's a press fit thing on the top that the steering wheel screws into, and I'm fairly confident I'm not going to be able to get that off, but I may just have to try. So we'll see. But if that don't work, we're gonna have to cut the shaft in half, pull one half out the top, one half out the bottom, buy a brand new shaft and drop it down in there. So that would get expensive. So if we do that, that's gonna be $10. I think the trouble is there's also two steering shafts for these Husqvarnas. There's this one, which is, I don't know, the model number ends in 3, and there's the next one, which the model number ends in 4. And I think the other one will work on this. However, if it doesn't, then I have to get the direct replacement. The direct replacement doesn't include that top press fit piece, and it also doesn't include the bushings. So it may actually end up being more cost effective if I just buy the other one as well as the direct replacement, and try and salvage this press fit piece off of that, because then it would be like 10 bucks more and I have 2 sets. And if the alternative one works, then great, I just put that one in there and I can return the other one and get 50 something bucks back. And if not, well, then I have to cannibalize both anyway, so we'll see. And it ends up, the thing was on sale for like 30 bucks. It was like half off. I probably should have bought it last week, but anyway, we'll see. I digress. But everything else is working fine on it. May do an oil change for him. He said he hadn't run it 10 hours yet, so I don't really see the need to do an oil change yet. This is the one that had the blown camshaft that was just full of glitter. But yeah, we'll see. But I'm going to go push this thing over into the garage and go load up the parts cannon, and we'll see what we can do. All right. So, 2 things. This guy was all flappy, loosey-goosey, and it was because that side of the pin over yonder was not through there, and the spring was not hooked up, so that just has a push-on washer on there, so I just pried that sucker off of there with a set of pliers and a screwdriver and hammer, and flared it out and just put it on backwards, but hammered that back there, threw in the correct orientation and put that spring guy on there, and this is back to doing what it should. And I think we're going to try and bridge that gap in there while we have this sucker in the shop, as well as put an edge on the blades if we need to, because we're going to take the deck off anyway, so might as well. Additionally, I did actually get this top piece off. Me and Dad were just on here beating on this thing, and wasn't terribly hard once we figured out what we were supposed to be doing. And we just greased things up, heated them up, and beat on them with a hammer, and then we're like, oh, that's how it works. So take all of this junk off like you normally would. So you take all of that, so you get all of that junk off of there. And what we did is I got a set of vice grips, locked them on there underneath that, and we just sprayed penetrating oil down in there, and then put a 9/16 wrench on there and just banged on it with a hammer in both directions. And that freed the thing up, and it's just splined on there. So it came right out. This thing looks like a socket. And that's it. It just press fits on there when you bolt that thing on there. And it just has sat there for so long, that it, you know, affixed itself to the shaft, but just a little bit of percussive maintenance and it's free now. So at the very least, I'll be able to drop that down through the bottom of the mower. So that's good. That means I don't have to cut the shaft in half. I don't have to order a new shaft. I just have to get an upper and a lower bushing, and I might as well just get another plate while I'm at it, because this one's taking some wear. And I'll get a pin too if I can. So anyway, that's the plan. So I'm just going to grab those parts because there's no getting around those. And, you know, we'll just get creative with some fasteners and some self-tappers and some license plates and stuff down there. And we might just change the oil on this as well, just because this was the one that had all the glitter in it. So I don't know. I'll run that by Jim, and we shall see. And that should be all we need. So should be able to get that for $50 maybe. So anyway, load up the parts cannon, and we'll see if we can make some progress on this sucker. All right, so while I wait for steering parts to get here, I think I'm going to try and get the steering shaft out. And additionally, I'm pulling the deck off. I've got the bushing in already, but everything else was a day later than I was hoping, so I didn't get it on the weekend. So it'll be here first thing next week, and I'll be able to get to it in a month. But anywho, I'm going to pull the deck out and just see how bad it is. I'm hoping there's just that one hole on that side, but this thing was fairly easy to get out of here. It's certainly a hell of a lot lighter. So there's one cotter pin up here on that guy. There's another cotter pin here, which connects that to that drop link. And there's another one here, which connects up there on the frame. And there's basically the same thing mirrored on the other side, except it's a different kind of drop link. Right here, this guy, which mounts over there. And then another one of these guys up here. And you have the belt, which is up front, which you just flop it over those hooks on either side, and it just falls right out. Really easy to get the belt off on this thing. Well, at least off of the mower pulley. And then this guy connects in here, and this guy clips in here. So you have to press that in, push the plastic through here, and there's a little slot. You just pass the wire through that. Then you can loop it around the whole pulley system under that, and then pull this way, and that gives you enough slack that you're able to pitch this down and work it out of that ovular hole. And that's all it is. Now the deck is free. Doesn't feel terribly soft, so I'm hoping it's just this one corner that's bad. Oh, there's a little bit of, well, we'll call that a drain hole, but let's see what I can do. This actually isn't all that, doesn't have all too much flex on it. So it sounds a little gravelly in here, but not particularly loose. So anywho, I'll see what I can do about that hole. It's not super bad. I'm hoping I can just find a fairly malleable chunk of steel or a old pot or something and just self-tapper it in there, but we'll figure it out. And then additionally, I'm going to drop that whole steering assembly and just see if I can get the shaft to fall out. All right, I think I found the source of the vibration. That's not what a spindle bearing is supposed to sound like. It's supposed to sound something closer to this. Like that. Not. So I think this spindle died a while ago, and all that vibration caused this side of the deck to fall apart because there's a big fucking crack in here. And this is decent gauge steel. I think that has something to do with it. So I think putting a plate in there, and it'd be great if I could weld, but I think just putting a support strap across that hole and a new spindle is what this sucker needs. So I'll part that out. All right, so I got all these bits out of here now, and as you can see, that is thoroughly wallered. This guy as well. This guy is supposed to be more or less tight to this upper part of the shaft, and it's got a fair bit of play. Not a whole lot, but a fair bit. This guy is supposed to be tight to the lower part of the shaft, and as you can tell, it's got a lot of play. So that's a problem. And I'm also not insane. This sucker is an integral part of the shaft. There's no hex there. You know, that is thoroughly booger welded onto there. So that's just, this is like an early model of this lawn tractor or something, and that is just how they did it, I guess. This is still fine here. You know, it's worn, it's not hyper worn. But if I got all brand new parts coming in, I'll just replace it. This guy, these were like $25 to get a new one, and these are like 10 bucks. That's way too much for just a chunk of fucking, what's this, glass-filled nylon? Is it even that? Yeah, but that's just plastic. So, anywho, once we get parts in, we'll slap all that back together, and hopefully this isn't too terrible of a repair. So I had to do all of that just to get it out, but it's out, and there you go. So we'll get those parts replaced when they come in, but I think I'm going to pay some attention over here, see if I got anything lying around that'll work to fit in here. I'm wondering, you know, you could get a 2-3 gallon pot maybe. It's probably about the same diameter. Maybe yeah. And you could cut the bottom of that out and just dish it in there. But I'll see if I got something more convenient and free lying around. But I'll figure something out to, you know, at least keep, you know, the sticks from going into your jugular on that. And I'm probably going to stick this back in here just so it's not sitting funny. And we'll fix it when we get it. Well, it ain't my best work. Ain't terribly proud of it, but it'll work. It's what you get for pro bono work. You know, the deck needs to be replaced anyway. If I put any more effort into this, it'd just be cheaper just to replace the damn thing. But anywho, normally this would be blocking one of the holes to take the pulley off, but there's so little deck left that you can just get in there with the socket. So hopefully it doesn't need an impact gun. I'll get a hole saw and I'll cut a hole out of it if it needs it. But that'll, at the very least, put a little bit more rigidity back into it. And I did cut the bottom of the screws off. I didn't cut them flush, just because I still want to be able to pull them off and put them back on if I really have to. But anywho, this will buy it some more time, but this pulley is just no bueno, and these can't be greased. I don't know why manufacturers don't put grease points on their fucking pulleys anymore, but I digress. I don't even know if I can get that sucker off of there, but I think I might just try and get the impact gun and see if I can wring this thing off of here. And blades need to be sharpened too. But anywho, probably not a today thing, but I am going to try and at least get the pulleys off just to see if they'll come off. All right, so that came off without too much fight. Had to bang on the back of the blade a little bit just to clean up the splines, because these splines are just about gone. But anyway, spindle's actually not bad. Still fine, no slop. I completely forgot, you know, this thing has a brake, so the brake was braking, which is why it sounded like a bag of rocks, and why it was so difficult to turn. So that's crisis avoided. So I just need to sharpen those two blades, so I think I might just pop those off and put them on the belt sander real quick, and then slap them back on. All right, well, both of those have been sharpened. This guy had definitely eaten on some rocks before, so I swapped it from that side to this side, because that one was beat to death and this one looked really good. So I figured, you know, put the banged up one, you know, on that side, the good one on that side, so that, you know, if that one gets banged up, it still has some life left in it, and that one, it won't, you know, get totally boogered. But, you know, she's hit a rock or 7 before in her life. But ain't too much left now. I'm not going to go any further with this deck. Spindle's fine, blades are sharpened. Just need to wait on steering components, and we can slap it all back together and send it back. I'm hoping that this sector plate, gear sector plate, whatever the hell the technical term is, big half moon gear in here, I think it's actually fine. You know, it's got accelerated wear on it, on account of, you know, everything, but it's still got plenty of meat left on the teeth. So I think just put new bushings in, as well as a new shaft and all that stuff, and recalibrating it should be all it needs. So I'm hoping that I bought a sector plate just in case. I'm hoping I can ship that back, and this should only be about $50, I think. So we shall see. But I'll drag the deck back inside, and we'll get on with waiting for parts. Alrighty, new steering parts are in, and this one's got an aluminum bushing with a steel insert, so that should never baller out. And let's just slap everything back together. I've got a replacement gear sector plate that I can swap in there if I need to, but I'm just going to put everything back together and see how it goes. If we don't need the new gear sector plate, I can return that. So I guess let's just do everything in reverse and see what the hell happens. All right, so there's all that jazz in there. Fit in there just fine. This aftermarket shaft is like a single diameter all the way down. And this replacement bushing down here that came with it, I'm glad I got this kit, not just the replacement nylon bushing, because that sucker's aluminum with a steel sleeve in it. And this sucker has absolutely fuck all for play in it, so that's fantastic. And this bushing up here, I had to just drive in with a hammer. I just took the old bushing from down there, slid it down there, and just tapped on it with a hammer. Took some force to get it in there, but that's good to go. I'm going to get the gas tank back in there, get these wires all plumbed back where they're supposed to be, and go about putting the cowl and steering wheel and all that back together, slide the deck back on it, and hook the battery back up, and we'll see if she lives. And just like that, she's back together and the deck's on. Deck is actually not all that terribly hard to get back on there, surprisingly. Shown you all the steering system before, and it's just these 5 torque screws to take the cowl off, and the 2 10mm holding the gas tank in. But a whole new steering system is in there. This clutch still works. All's fine. Steering is hella tight. So, can't ask for better on that. I think she's ready to go back to gym. All I got left to do is just spin around the yard and make sure she doesn't blow up. All right, it's dark out. Let's see what this sucker does. Should just fire right up. There she is. Steering works just fine. Blades work just fine. Clutch engages, disengages. Not a thing wrong with it. So, A-okay, except for the headlights. Headlights are broken. But I think this is the one where there was something up with a harness or something. Oh, that would do it. It's not even plugged in. Let's try that. Let's see if that does something. Well, still no headlights, so I don't know what that's about, but like I said before, this is that one that had the messed up harness, so not my problem. Jim doesn't cut grass at night, but anyway, we'll get to that if we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. But anyway, I think she's ready to go back. So that's it for this video. Hope this video helped. If it did, consider giving the video a like, comment, tell me anything else that you saw wrong with this thing that I should work on, and you know, and maybe, just maybe, if this thing breaks again, we'll work on it. Who am I kidding? We are going to. But anyway, if you want to see that, you got to subscribe. So smash the big gray button over there. Until next time, I'm out.